More of our open mic spots. I'd like to welcome Dodo's own, very Mr. Dodo's own, PRMurry.
Thank you, Patrick. I'm going to read just one poem. It's published in this rather obscure, well, about to be published in this obscure publication called Watermelon. The reason is I edit it. I didn't know what it was called, but I think I made up a title for it. It's called Whinging with Whales. I could cope with being a cetacean, dolphin, whale or orca would do, provided I could swim through seas of history, memory and ideology, surfacing to spout a spume of poetry and dive back again so waves wash over me. But I'm not a cetacean, I'm a bipedal cripple, panting for breath at the top of the stairs of an unfriendly railway station, just in time to miss the train again, not swimming but hobbling on and on instead. Still, at least I can spout poems from a hole in my head.
PRMurry, thank you, Pete. If I just remind open micers, by the way, 2 poems maximum. Please welcome now, all the way from Merton, where I used to live, Leanne.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll do 2 short ballads. The first one is called Daffodil and Lotus. A daffodil by the lakeside, a lotus in the mud. No matter where we grow, what a miracle when we bloom. The second one is called The Love Apple Lorry. 18 years ago, in the summer of 2000, 60 Chinese young migrant workers left their home in Fujian. They got on a tomato lorry in Rotterdam, Holland, and then they headed for England, traveling through Belgium. In the midnight of 18th of June, they arrived in the English port of Dover. So this is their story about their journey, their hope and their fate. Sitting in the Love Apple lorry, we are going to catch the Dover ferry, heading for a place where we'll live free. The English sky splashes blue, the English sea waves more blue, the English summer all strawberries and cream. The English cows moon free, the English grass grins on green, the English garden, what a postcard. The English sun sets in rose, the English moon waxes in cloud, but all we see is darkness, sparkling with ice. Our lorries loaded with love apples, driving with ripening dreams. Flowers bloom or love apples fall. When will we arrive in Dover? The air is getting thinner. The juice of love apples squeezes thicker. Flowers bloom or love apples fall. When will we arrive in Dover? Here at last, our lorry arrives in Dover, unloading 58 love apples, lying between a reddened sky and a reddened sea. We have dreamt a sweet and sour dream. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leanne. And now, please, Angelina DiMaria.
Yeah. Well, how to follow that last super poem. This is a poem about a place in Cornwall, and I don't know if any of you have been to Cornwall, but there's a place called Zena, which is just on the edge of the cliffs, and there's a little village nearby, and this is called Zena Horses. Up to their hocks in buttercups, by hell's mouth in a field, a seal-black stallion guards his foam-grey girl. Startled by sunlight, innocent, they munch sweet windfall apples, share warm breaths. Waves drum the ground under their rough-shod hooves. No adders cross their path. Manes clouded round them tie their bridle knot. He gently licks the cold sea spray from flanks trembling with strangeness. Newly released from darkness, this couple, graced without the sight of God, these Cornish horses canter high above the pagan witch's cove, nearby a chapel whose oak pews someone has carved with mermaids. And this is the one and only cheery love poem I've ever written, so I've got to expose you to it. It's a Japanese myth, by the way, that making 1,000 cranes earns you one really good luck wish. This is called High Regard. I will make you 1,000 origami cranes. Raise your sad face. I will send you flamboyance of flamingos. Nighttime, look up. I will have set up a compound pulley system. Aeroplanes veer away from its red light gantry top. You sleep time, dear. It's true, my birds have claws. My tall crane can take your foundations, topple you right down. But believe, you are above grey crushed concrete, creased sheets of dull paper, pink shrimps, broken shells. Raise your sad face.
Thank you, Angelina. I just want to say, by the way, it's lovely having so many new voices to us anyway here this afternoon. And just to remind you that if you want to be kept in touch, there's a form at the desk. I'd like to leave your email, and so we can make sure you get informed about everything we do. So, we move on now to Christine Eales, please.
I'm passionate about haiku, and I'm sure lots of you are as well. And it's a fabulous place, free world. Haiku Foundation has a blog. You can send things in every week. Except the only worry is, if you think you've written a poem of pure genius, which we do every time we've finished a poem, don't send it in, because if it's that good, you won't get it published in many of the journals. So just bear that in mind, but lovely free thing to do, only a few seconds to type it in, and you could be on the international scene.
What's the name of the blog, Christine?
Well, it's the Haiku Foundation blog, and it's called Trout Swirl, which you just click on, but everybody just calls it the blog. But more else, if anybody wants afterwards me to tell a bit more, that's fine. Anyone with really academic questions on haiku, the girl in the purple hair will help you.
Who's that?
So the girl in the purple hair is the president of the British Haiku Society, and the girl with the purple hair is now the title of your next poem. So the theme on the blog this time has been the 5 senses, one topic, and each week, because we don't use many of the senses, do we? It's usually sight, so it's forcing us to do those. So, and you have to have it based around the same sort of thing. So mine's Brighton, and the first sense is sight. Grey waves and pebbles, how golden hair in the Brighton breeze. The next one is hearing. Twilight lullaby, as waves and voices fade, as seagulls cry. And the next one is taste. fried onions on her breath, the salty sea. And this is taste, peppermint, crunching my stick of Brighton rock. And then the final one, touch, seashore, touching your smile with a kiss.
Thank you for those little jewels, Christine. We seem to be getting quite a few people from south of the river here this afternoon. At least this next part, I met south of the river when we were both on a writer's course in Balham, I think it was. Paul Gander has been coming to our events for many years now, and I've never read before, but he's going to break a duck by offering us some of his work this afternoon. So I'm very pleased to welcome Paul Gander.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm always full of admiration for people who can remember their poetry. I'm not one of them, I'm afraid. Well, partly because the piece I'm writing at the moment is a rather marathon long poem, which at the moment is 5,000 words and is, I think, about halfway there. It's also strange because it's actually in blank verse, which is not exactly cutting edge and experimental stuff, but it's what I want to do. Also, coincidentally, it's we've heard from one Greek island starting with le. Mine comes from another Greek island, which is Lefkada. It's set on this island, which is sort of half island, half attached to the mainland on the western side of Greece. It's called Olive Grove, and the characters, another connection with Patrick, there's a dog, which some of you who know Patrick's poetry going back a little way will remember. Is it Black Bob?
Black Bob.
Black Bob, so, which I'm sure is a distant inspiration for the dog in the poem. There's also a Greek man called Eales and a family, an English family of tourists, not unlike my own family. So this is the start of the poem. For one other, there's the Greek man Eales speaks with an American accent, which may seem an affectation, but he's actually lived a lot of his life in the States, New York, principally. 2 knots of blackness catch in the smooth weave and blaze of sky and sea, the join barely visible. A dog trips down that stair, striking against the white monastic marble. And a stranger stands beside us, shares the view. The monastery of Phaneromeni behind us. Out ahead, the Ionians churning. From here is solid blue, stilled in a bowl of far-off cliffs and crags. And where we stand could be our own cliff edge. Sharp scarp tumbling away towards Lefkada, town and plain. They'll always say defeat was down to her. I look back at the stranger, he at me, confirming that his words were meant for us. Battle of Actium, out there in the bay. Octavian on one side, Cleopatra, opposite him with her Mark Antony. Of all our family, I'm the only one eager for further details. Our 2 girls must think their history teacher, in disguise, had tracked them down 1,000 miles from home, but our new guide is keen. She set her sails to slip between the enemy ships, a classic diversion, never meant for Antony to follow her. I half attempt to joke about the lack of good interpreters. The Greek seems fine without them. I'll let the foreign tramp take all the blame. The dog, unnoticed, has crossed the road, applies himself to probing undergrowth. We learn to be suspicious of strangers with a tale to tell. But here, the urge to set an independent course is smothered by sheer curiosity. He shows no sign of moving, nor do we. That rhyme just happened, it wasn't put in on purpose. Now a very, I should explain. So further on in the poem, this is sort of starting with the dog, who basically follows the group. They can't shake him off. And he's a character in his own right. Now on the flat and in a brighter light, the silvered surface of the road, his stage, our sleek companion seems to act a part, or many. All in black from top to tail, his dangling collar end a matching tie, he paces like a stand-up with a story, with one eye on his public and the other on dumb punchlines, boom boom, one droplet propping a mimed fag end. Or, like a luminous star of silent cinema, all deadpan stare. Or tap dance act with cabaret claws that skitter over the pitted tarmac, veering back, again quite unaware of any risk from intermittent traffic. Thin haunches now play independence. Could he be the dog equivalent of a pantomime horse? He might evolve, move sideways like a crab, or, stranger still, might overtake himself, rear legs starting to outpace those in front. Like me, Yanis has watched the creature's antics, but conjures up comparisons of his own. He's like those dolphins, slick and dark, which arc out of the water, dip, then rise again, following vessels far out from the land. His eyes are far off too. The idea appeals, but are those sightings common, I ask? So rare they live here in your brain. You see, the bond with man is palpable, not just to man, but animals as well. We watch the dog trot on ahead of us. We shout out, "Dolphin!" He stops, peers round. We laugh at his reaction, though no doubt any sound would do the trick. The name sticks, just as he has stuck with us. That's it.
Dodo debut from a long time attendee. Thank you, Paul. And now we finish from the open mic spots, lastly with another person from south of the river, from Sutton, Rachel Sanbrook.
Yeah.
I'm going to share something I've just written that hasn't really been finished yet, so but if you don't share these things, they tend to just stay in your notebooks and disappear, don't they? So I've got to give it a go. It's kind of I've been concerned about the way that we're all being sold on appearance all the time, and as I'm getting older I'm just realising what crock that is. So I'm kind of interested in that, and anyway, it's called Beautiful. Because what is beautiful? Whose eyes, what intimacy, what love lies behind those eyes that judge for beautiful? Because what are eyebrows beautiful? Eyebrows that are drawn on, tattooed, what shape? Because what are stomachs beautiful? Whose abs, what washboard? When smooth into taut hip lines? And how do they do it, these people, who do not fall into deception of another's gaze, as if he loves you, as if you are connected by something that is other than physical? How do they do it when they know that body is just a taking? Body and all these... I can't read that. That's it.
Sounds like my writing.
Yeah, I don't know, it's not a tune, but I just went
Maybe the
on.
line, maybe the
I'm
line.
going to. Hang
I
on.
can't read it.
So, I can't read it, these cockroaches. Flesh on flesh has less meaning than a dried flower in Poundland. How do they wake, intent, shone, and... I really scribbled it. How do they wake? Right, sorry. How do they wake without shame and remorse, without that hollow ache? How do they not pursue the other, make it relationship, make it something other than nothing, waiting to be called beautiful?
Yeah.
I think there's something in there somewhere. Isn't there? Okay, I'm going to be doing a show next year that is going to be a comedy poetry show, and this might be in it. I'm not quite sure if it is. I'll give it a go. It's about relationships, about arguments that you have in relationships, and they're never about the thing you say it's about. And this is about an argument about we try to make each other happy. I tell you, I think about how to make you happy. You point out you thought about my birthday present, a thinking time with a real, quantifiable end product, a scientific, rational end product, a conclusion to the experiment question, how to make me happy, and why do I keep going on about it anyway? I inform you I spent too much of my thoughts wondering how to make you happy all the time. You inform me that you proved that point already. You point at the point that you made the point of thinking about shopping and buying my birthday present, proof of the time thinking of trying to make me happy. Where was my proof? My proof, I said, is that I am still here, still listening. And I didn't take your shitty present back to the shop, despite having the receipt. But that does not make you happy.
Thank you, Rachel. So we return now to